Hi, I'm Natalie from ATMS. Welcome to our Symposium Presenter Spotlight. Today's interview is sponsored by Ironic. Ironic's introduction to iridology was in the 90s with the release of a complete iridology setup from camera, monitor, and printer. Many practitioners are still using the camera today, showing Ironic's durability. They have designed their latest technology for their iridology camera, the Pebble 12, to incorporate practitioners' requests like a unique lighting system and an internal screen and power. Now, no connection to a computer is required to take crystal clear pictures. To find out more, go to pebble12.com.au. In September, ATMS are going to be having their post-viral symposium where 5 leaders in the field will be presenting all about viral illnesses and post-viral illnesses. Today, I'm joined by Fiona Chin. Fiona is a qualified naturopath with a bachelor's degree in health science, has been in clinical practice for over 20 years, working throughout the USA, Canada, and Australia. She has special interest in diagnosed and neurological autoimmune conditions such as MS and those with chronic kidney disease. Fiona has also continued to do many postgraduate studies and has also worked alongside world-renowned neuroscientists and researchers when she worked with Dr. Joe Dispenza, who is rewriting the science around the possible with meditation, the human mind, and the body's ability to heal. Hello and welcome, Fiona.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining me today.
No worries. How exciting. We've got this amazing symposium coming up in September, which is going to be fantastic.
I know. We can't wait to have you come here in Sydney and to present all about, and to really go through all that post-viral stuff. Now, you've had a massive career the last 20 years and really diving into autoimmune and kidney disease by the looks of it as well.
Yeah, when you say 20 years, I'm like, really? 20 years? How did that happen? Yes, 20 years.
It goes so fast.
It does.
So with your research, I guess, in post-viral illness, what has been your main research and focus that you have been seeing over the last few years?
Yeah, look, I like to go down the rabbit hole. That's how my personality is. So I started looking at the link between viral infections and autoimmune disease, because that is the area that I do a lot of work in. And of course, what happened back in 2019, 2020, we had a new novel virus come out. And what I have seen in clinical practice since then is an absolute escalation in not just autoimmune diseases, but other types of cancer and just strange sort of conditions, I guess, that maybe can't be categorized into any certain area, but we're definitely seeing a lot of neurological deficits. So that heads me down the rabbit hole of just what the role is of a virus in causing things like neurological disease, causing changes in the way the brain functions and brain fog. We're seeing a lot of people not even being able to string sentences together, not being able to work full time anymore, chronic fatigue, the effects that has on the mitochondria. So that's probably where I've spent a lot of my time in the last little bit of just pivoting around not just how chronic viruses that we know definitely play a role in things like MS and Parkinson's and those autoimmune diseases, but now looking at how viruses in general can really contribute to a lot of our chronic conditions, and that we're seeing a huge escalation in the population of these types of chronic conditions that may not be categorized anywhere specifically, and then exactly the mechanisms behind that and how that works.
Yeah, you're right. There's been a huge increase in expanse in people suffering from post-illness issues. So what really has been your focus of research, and what have you seen over the last 5 years, and what's changed to maybe what's emerging in the future as well?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm looking at how do we tie this all together, because we can see viruses have a mechanism behind causing chronic disease, whatever that might be. But I'm like, there must be something that ties us all together, that the way that viruses work. So I've been really diving into the science of senescence, which is what happens as we age. So senescence is a natural process of aging. But what we do know is that chronic viral infections potentially speed up this senescence process. And then if we can actually affect senescence and I won't go into too much detail. I'll save that for the symposium. But, senescence will do things like damage mitochondria, it exhausts stem cells, it does a whole pile of things like that. So the senescence has this really broad approach in how it will affect the human body. That are there ways that we can really make an impact on senescence and the way that senescence works, and can we enhance the body's ability to clear senescent zombie-like cells? And if we do that, would that reduce the potential of what's happening in the post-viral fatigue, be down to oxidative damage, inflammation, mitochondrial damage, those sort of things? So looking at a more broader approach, at a deeper end to really impact patients and really help improve them, especially when it comes to neurological function. That's probably where I have seen this have major impacts of a really positive nature.
Yeah, and you hit on a few different things there, like definitely oxidative damage and inflammation. So you're seeing a rise in these issues from these post-viruses that people are getting?
Oh, absolutely. And I do think, one of the major contributing factors to that, and it's bidirectional, is the senescence process. So we do know that oxidative damage and inflammation will speed up senescence. And we also know that senescent cells, they release things called SAPs, which will increase cytokines. So that whole cytokine storm that we heard about around the time of 2020 and things like that, we do know that's potentially part of the SAP cells, which happens in the senescent process. And then looking at ways as practitioners that we can really effectively work on that. So then diving down the rabbit hole of new therapeutics and things like that, and emerging therapies which are starting to come out, which Australia's quite far behind on. And I would say as a whole, the alternative medicine, for want of a better word, industry is starting to get on board with, and we definitely need more research, and we need more education around the areas and protocols that we can use to really intervene using these types of therapeutic strategies and treatments.
Wow, practitioners are going to really love your session. I can't wait to hear more about the senescence. And as you said, give them practical protocols to use with their clinic and in their patients as well.
Absolutely.
Tell us as well, who inspires you to do your work and what you're doing, and the reason behind why you're doing it?
Yeah, great question. I think, heal thyself. For people that don't know, I have a chronic autoimmune incurable disease myself, as well as a spinal cord injury from a horse riding accident. So I spend most of the time researching on myself, and then extending that. I also have some really beautiful patients with things like motor neuron disease and things like that, which probably is one of the most ghastly of autoimmune diseases. So, really wanting to have an impact on patients where, I'm thinking of a particular motor neuron case in the US where it was there's definitely a post-viral, it came on after influenza 1. So going down that, patient went on to get cancer, all those sort of things. So those are the rabbit holes that I start to go down, and then how I can generally broaden that out. But it'll generally be a patient that will inspire me, where standard sort of treatments don't work, or that I need to look differently, or I'm looking into myself. My kidney patients are amazing. I'm really blessed to have a really big company that works with kidney disease. And when we start to get testimonials or stories of people coming off dialysis and people reversing kidney disease and improving EGFR functions, which of course we're told in mainstream medicine isn't possible, I sort of reverse engineer and go back into, well, why does our treatment protocol work so effectively? I know how to do it, but have I missed something in the science that they're not talking about in the research literature? And again, senescence is a big part of that. That's why we're seeing such amazing results with our kidney disease patients. And then how do I extend that to some of my other patients that may not be doing as well, especially things like ALS and motor neuron, which, it's a lot harder to make a dent in those sort of diseases. So what can I do, and how can I be a better practitioner to really affect those? So that's really what inspires me, and how I get down these great big rabbit holes and spend months down there before I surface my head, and people are like, "You're alive?" And I'm like, "I'm alive, but I know about senescence and peptide therapy, so let's go."
Yep, I'm here.
Exactly.
Well, I think you're an inspiration, absolutely, to see where you've come from, and to obviously so many practitioners get into this field because of their own health. But look how many people you are helping and inspiring as well. So well done, and thank you as well.
Thank you. It's a good career to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't wait to hear more about your presentation. So the ATMS Post-Viral Symposium is going to be Sunday, the 15th of September in Sydney. And your session is going to be the role of cellular senescence in post-viral treatment. We can't wait to hear more about it. Before we leave you today, can you let us know where maybe someone can find you as well? Do you have a website and where we can research and see all your wonderful work that you're doing?
Sure, you can head to www.wellnessguru.com.au. I am pretty much retired these days, so my beautiful colleague Emily is the one seeing the bulk of our patients. So yeah, but you can see all about me there, and you can definitely reach out by email at fiona@wellnessguru.com.au if you have any specific questions about any of this stuff.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Fiona.
No problem, Natalie. Thank you. Can't wait to see you all in September.